Okay, so hello everyone. I know I haven't made a video in a while, but today I am making one and we're going to be talking about the one and only Quadeca. Personally, I started watching Quadeca around 5 years ago, back in 2018. Back then, like the child I was, I used to watch the Logan Paul and Jake Paul diss track beef. And one day I stumbled upon this YouTuber styles of rap and it interested me because it had Jake Paul and Logan Paul, and that's where the journey began for me and probably a lot of other people. But if you were to watch that styles of rap and listen to his newest album, I shit you not, most likely you wouldn't even recognize him as the same person. So how did Quadeca get to the point he is now?
We just living in a solar system, one big world, it'll hold the wisdom.
Quadeca, or Quadeca X8, started his channel as a FIFA YouTuber back in 2012, and in 2014 he began posting freestyles and other rap related content and went viral with a video where he was rapping in his middle school talent show.
Walking away, hopping, blocking with top and gay shot in the face, gun locked and loaded, bam off the race, dropping bass off the brace, bound away, predict what I'll probably say, and at the end of the day still talking to me, so obviously let the audience say, so let me explain this to those who came in.
The crowd was dead as fuck, but luckily that didn't discourage him, and he kept making music and released his first album called Work in Progress back in 2015. The album wasn't good to say the least, but considering he was 15 at the time, honestly, it's decent. In 2016, he released his second album called Nostalgia for the Now. There was a pretty noticeable improvement in the production and mixing compared to Work in Progress, but the flows are still very rough on some songs. Sometimes he's barely on beat, and there's plenty of things to improve at that point. In 2017, he released his third album called Bad Internet Rapper. In this album, his flows got slightly better, but the production and mixing feels like it downgraded in some parts compared to Nostalgia for the Now. Bad Internet Rapper wasn't the last project he would release in 2017. He also released Out of Order, the album that marks the end to the early Quadeca era. Well, there's also the KSI and Quadeca beef, but I'm pretty sure that has been covered enough already.
Let my voice I've been talking to the man sitting on my left shoulder. He said everything just gets worse when you're older. I pulled up to the function, can't even function. No, nothing, I don't know nothing.
Voice Memos was released in 2019, and this album was similar to his previous in a lot of ways, but had huge improvements on mixing, production, and the flows. The album was pretty popular in the YouTube rapper scene and had some hits like and The Man on My Left Shoulder, which was without a shadow of a doubt the best Quadeca song at the time. The song spoke about inner struggles, ego, and the struggles that come with growing up and gaining fame over the years, and how that can damage someone mentally. During this era, Quadeca was releasing a lot of songs that are hype and more oriented towards a mainstream audience. This was when he released Beaming, which absolutely blew the fuck up, and at the time of writing the script has over 31 million streams on Spotify and 3.6 million views on YouTube. The song wasn't really anything special per se, but it was catchy and it was hype as fuck, so people like that, and that's pretty much the highlight of the Voice Memos Quadeca era. Now this album is when I became a Quadeca fan for life. I was already listening to his music once in a while up till then, but when I listened to Sisyphus for the first time, no joke, I was crying by the end of it. And I wasn't the only one. Even Anthony Fantano started tearing up during it. I think that's enough evidence that the song was absolutely fucking beautiful, man. Onto the actual album. It was a tremendous improvement over his previous work. The production was out of this fucking world, and the songs were all very enjoyable to listen to all around. Except except for Where'd You Go, which didn't really live up to the rest of the album, but other from that, the album was amazing and couldn't even be compared to his previous work up to that point. The album had features like IDK, Play That Boy Zay, and Guap Dat 4000, and if you haven't listened to it already, I highly recommend you do. It's gonna be an album that absolutely blows you away, trust me. Just give it a little listen. It's gonna be for the better.
I think you got and yet you don't believe her. You wonder, you need her, and yet you don't believe her. You wonder, you need her, underneath you. You wonder, you need her.
A year later, Quadeca released, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best albums I've ever heard, called I Didn't Mean to Haunt You. The conceptual album was done from the perspective of a ghost and showcased Quadeca's amazing lyrical ability and his insane production skills. The production is honestly something that I have just never heard before from any other project I've listened to. That might be because I mostly listen to hip-hop albums, but my point still stands. I think after this album, no one in the world could call Quadeca a YouTube rapper if they listened to the whole thing. The album featured other amazing artists like Danny Brown and the Sunday Service Choir, which, if you didn't know, was featured on Kanye West's album Jesus is King. To be honest with you, I have no idea how the fuck Quadeca got that feature, but it was hype as fuck. But back to the topic at hand. After the album was released, many people were saying that it should be album of the year, which I agree with, and I think if you have listened to it, you would also agree. The album launched Quadeca's popularity in the underground music scene, and he kept riding that momentum with his next release called Scrapyard, a mixtape which was released this year and is made up of songs that didn't fit into the I Didn't Mean to Haunt You project and songs Quadeca just wanted to release. Right now, this is my favorite project of his, probably behind I Didn't Mean to Haunt You, just because of the significance that album had. But Scrapyard boosted Quadeca's popularity to even greater heights, since he got a 9 out of 10 from Anthony Fantano, which made people give the mixtape a chance, and having Kevin Abstract and Breakins on the album definitely didn't hurt. And that's about it, folks. Right now, Quadeca is working on a new project he teased called Vanisher, and also recently performed Texas Blue at Coachella with Kevin Abstract. I'm really hyped to see what comes next in his musical journey and what other masterpieces we get our ears blessed with in the following years. I know I could have, dived a lot deeper and covered everything a lot more in depth than I did. I go into every nook and cranny about his career. But honestly, I just wanted to talk about how much I enjoy Quadeca's music, not do a deep dive on his whole career, although I might do that in the future. But that was it for today, and see ya in another 2 years probably. Bye bye.